This is an update of my TW200. As you can see, it has an even worse case of the uglies than it had before. What happened was, when I first got it, I gave $450 for this bike, and I got it running pretty quickly, and cleaned out the tank and various things like that. Didn't really spend any money on it except for I bought a new front tire, ditched the worn out Deathwing and replaced it with this what is this thing now? Let me see. The size is 5.1 by 18. It's a Kenda. I don't remember. I don't see the name of it. But anyway, it's a Kenda knobby tire that is really intended for the rear tire on other dirt bikes. In fact, I've got one exactly like it on the rear of my XL250. But it works well as a front tire on this bike. So I got it running, put that tire on it, and rode it around quite a bit, rode it up in the mountains. Found that it was nearly unstoppable in the mountains. And the carburetor ran fine then, but then it started, I would get 50 miles from home and it would start cutting out on me. And I would barely be able to limp home. And then it got worse to the point that some days it wouldn't run at all. And reading all about it's an 87, and that's a 1 year model, that all the electrics and everything are different from all the others. So I read about how the CDIs are prone to fail on those, not because it's a failure prone design, but just because of the age. And since it's a 1 year model, the CDI is especially expensive on that year. A replacement CDI for the 87 is about $300. And I read about how some people were using Chinese cheap Honda pattern CDIs, and so I adapted one of those to fit, and it kind of worked for putting around the yard, but it obviously, it didn't have any power, and that was not a good solution. And in researching it further and testing and so on, I found out that the problem is that Honda can use a simple CDI because they're designed the way, in my opinion, it should be designed, which is the static ignition timing is at what should be the top of the curve. In other words, it's at about between, depending on the engine, 30 degrees before top dead center to maybe 45 degrees before top dead center. And that is the static timing. And then that way it can use a simple CDI that just has a simple delay circuit built into it that reduces pretty much automatically, the way these things work, as the RPM increases. And I won't go into why that works, but it's simple. And that's the way Hondas are designed, and that's the way those CDIs, the cheap CDIs, that's why they're so cheap, one of the reasons. So you can even build your own CDI for one of those. And it's not that difficult to do. But see, Yamaha, they want to make it difficult. So what they did was they set the static timing at approximately 0 degrees. So that means that you must have a complicated CDI to make it work. And I have since found out that it wasn't just the CDI, it was also the wiring from the stator and everything This bike had a lot of problems in the ignition system. So what I was going to do and started to do was I took the flywheel off and took the key out of it and offset the flywheel to where it would be about where it would be on a Honda, so that I could use a Honda type CDI. But and what I was planning on doing eventually was drilling out the rivets on the hub of the flywheel and offset it permanently so that I could run a simple CDI on this. But I just kind of never got around to it, and the wiring was so messed up anyway that I got tired of not being able to ride my bike. So I eventually decided to look around and see what I could find, and I decided to buy a factory CDI, to get it going. And but I didn't want to pay $300 just for a 1-year CDI. So what I did, I bought a 2001 to present, the latest model CDI, which also happens to be the least expensive. It's about $140, $150, which is basically half the price of the 87 model. And in order to use that, you've got to change the stator and pickup, and you also have to change the side cover. Supposedly, I'm not sure that it couldn't be made to work with the old side cover, but I had read that you had to change the side cover, and I don't remember for sure. I mean, when I was looking at it, I kind of think that I decided that it could be done with the old side cover, but I found a used side cover for 25 or 30 bucks, something like that, and bought it. And I got it came with the stator and pickup and so on, but you can buy a new stator and pickup, not Yamaha brand, but aftermarket, for about 50 bucks. So I got one of those, and now I've got a backup. And the other thing you got to replace the flywheel also. So I bought a used flywheel for about 25 bucks, and then to top all that off, I bought a complete, for about 30 bucks, I think, if I remember correctly. I bought a complete late model wiring harness, 2001 to present. And I kind of hacked it up and made it work made the new wiring harness work on the old bike, and simplified it somewhat, and so on. And so that's where we're at. Oh, also, in the course of all this, although the original carburetor was working okay before, I couldn't get it to work this time. It was giving me a rash of problems. So I bought a $25 approximately Chinese TW200 carburetor and put it on it. And I bought a $23 or something Chrome brand battery. Before I never even had a battery on it. I just ran it without the battery and used kickstart only. But now I actually have electric start. So yeah, I did some hacking on the original throttle cables and made that work. And as you can see, I have just a little gas tank from a weed eater or whatever on it right now. But I'm planning to either put the original tank back on it or I'd like to get something like an XT350 steel tank, which is larger, greater capacity. But yeah, I mean, I just got it running again, and I've been riding it around, but now I can start cleaning up some of the wiring and, you know, attending to some of the appearance issues and so on, and making it more long distance rideable. But right now, at least, it is rideable again. So that's the update for now.